You're arrived. You have arrived.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Sorry about that. Oh my god, this is so funny.
Please tell us what happened. Okay, wait, I'll give a little premise first. So, we've agreed we're going to do the live stream at 6 p.m. I was super excited. I got my backdrop outdoors ready to meet the one and only Hirzi. And then, tang, 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 please fill in the blank, honey.
So what happened was, I I, I fell asleep waiting on the live, and next thing I know, I woke up to this banging on my door, and then it was my sister saying, "Abang, it's time to break fast." So I was like, "Huh?" Because I thought when she banged the door, I thought it was the next day already. I'm lost. I've lost my sense of time. And then I ate, right? And then as I ate, I was like, I was supposed to do something just now. And then as I had a mouthful of salmon in my mouth, I just went like, so I'm dead.
So,
And I ran up and I texted you. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I am terribly sorry.
don't be sorry.
Of So
This
I'm
is
Dead. I'm so
really
embarrassing.
funny. Don't worry about it. This is super funny. Okay, so I will fill you in a little bit of what happened on my side. So
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock, I was, talking, and then, usually I'll just wait for like 5 minutes and then my guest will arrive. So I was like saying, oh, Hirzi's not there. Never mind, I'll chat. Half an hour later. Eh? Still not there, what? Okay, never mind lah. I talk to myself lah.
Oh my, I'm so embarrassed. And am I your first
Don't
Singaporean
worry.
guest? I'm not your first. No, Xiaxue was already your guest.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So today
Am I your
we're
first
gonna
Malay
talk.
guest though?
No, please. Good question though. Good question. I try to be very muhiba here. Okay. So
Okay, nice.
today's topic is about workaholism and how you and we both navigate it. So earlier I chatted a little bit about that already. So I want to get straight into it, but before I can get straight into it, there's something very important I need to do. So, I've got studio audience here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Hirzi is in the house. Please put your hands together for the one and only Hirzi!
Wow!
Thank you.
Wow,
Ada soundboard. Jangan main-main.
Oh,
Okay? It's
wow,
serious here. Ada production value.
Wow.
Yes, we take it to the next level. So yeah, Hirzi, before we begin all of this, I just want to ask, how are you doing? How are you getting used to this whole being quarantined, being at home?
I think it's a very interesting topic to have while raising that question, because for people like you and I, when we talk about workaholism, right? I guess it's a question of why are we engineered the way we are. And this circuit breaker, we call it circuit breaker, but I think my government very clever. They know the abbreviation they want already. They just try to find words to fit in the letters. So it's the CB, yeah. Singapore has the CB, you all have the MCO. So with this lockdown, what it has made me learn is why my workaholism is the way it is, or what it was serving me before. And I think it was actually a coping mechanism. And that's what I'm starting to realize in this lockdown. I don't know if you're like that, but I realize when I'm stripped of work, I question my being and my person. And so it is, to answer your first question, it's very tough on me not having anything to do, or not having a schedule that allows me to be out and about. Frustrates my inner spirit. So I find different ways to cope with it, which is by working also.
So let's talk a little bit about schedule. So way before this CB, okay, way before the CB,
Yes.
how was your schedule like? Because a lot of interview I've read, particularly about when you were doing Benzi project, 40 minutes to 2 hours of sleep a day. Like, tell me a little bit about that. What the hell, dude?
That was a very dumb time, and I've learned a lot from that episode. I feel like there was a window where, after Muna Hirzi, you got to realize, okay, like we all knew that Muna was going to do the theater route. What I was feeling was a lot of insecurity. Like, who is Hirzi post Muna Hirzi? And I was trying to fill my time up, or fill my the what I thought was voided. You know, like I thought I had a void without Muna Hirzi. So I needed to be embellishing my voice every single platform and every single opportunity I get. So post Muna Hirzi, I was just packing my schedule. You know, like my collaborations with Dkosh, my collaborations with Benzi. I was filling my schedule up so much that I wasn't thinking about my health at all. So there was a window in 2019 where I was also working hard to save up for my birthday trip. And I I thought I was just, okay, you know what, let's just take up all the jobs. I was doing a Ramadan bazaar. I was doing the Benzi project. I was shooting for Dkosh. I was shooting my own client videos, which were like 4 to 5 of them within that same month as well. And I I started I, I started scheduling things based off the hour instead of the days, which meant to say I disregarded rest. I was like, okay, I have 2 hours here. I'll slot that in here. I have 45 minutes here. I'll slot that in here. And then when it came down to realizing, oh my God, I'm only having 2 hours of sleep a day on average, that's when my health started taking a toll. But my body, and everybody's body is like that. When you're on adrenaline, it copes for you until you take a break, and that's when your body crashes. And when your body crash, all your health ailments are gonna start to come out. And I actually had a huge health scare. I shared this with the Ming Thing on their podcast actually, and ever since the health scare, I revisited how I did work. I'm still a workaholic, but I realized I need to spread myself out and be realistic with my body. So I'm a bit kinder with my body now. But at the same time, this lockdown has taught me that actually there's something deeper than that. There's a layer in it that I need to just, peel off and figure out, why am I a workaholic? And I realize it's all I have as a person. It sounds so sad, right?
No, but that's the
It's
thing.
like,
It's not sad. It's real because like there's a lot of research out there that said that people equate their value to work, and when there's so-called nothing else going on in your life, you flood your day with work so that you don't have to think about that void, as you've mentioned. Do you feel that's something you can relate to?
oh, 100%. 100%. Like, I I started to spend a lot of time in my headspace, and I realized, like, you know what, my friends have a love life, my friends have like families and what. I mean, I have a I have families to take care of as well, but beyond that, most times I realized all I was focusing on was work. It was something to distract me from the other things that I void in my life. And yeah, I don't know. I think I need to see a therapist lah. Are you a therapist, Jen?
I'm not a therapist, but I've been to therapy before about this. I actually shared about that. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into your work. So let's strip off workaholism first. What
Thank you.
do you love most about your work? Like, I want to know what keeps you going, because you are a very creative person, and you, like you said, you kind of spread your seeds everywhere. And I'm very curious as to what keeps you going. Okay, maybe I'll give you a bit of my experience. Why I love what I do is
Yeah.
when I'm creative, I love the process so much. The editing, the shooting, the coming up with the concept. It excites me, and sometimes I even forget to eat, things like that. So it keeps
Yeah.
you going, that process. I want to know if that's like that for you.
No, I'm a bit on set. So I am infamous. I'm very strict on set, and I'm very, very unenjoyable. And I'll be honest, when I'm being unenjoyable, that's not a real word. I myself don't enjoy the experience. So I have a journey with my love-hate relationship with production. Okay, people don't know how high stress production is. You are in production, you know how high stress it is. And it's production is actually a very unrealistic human schedule. Do you know what I mean? People get to do 9 to 5, which is very decent rest rest to work ratio, right? But they don't realize with production, when you're on pre-pro for one, you are also actually on post-pro for one job. So by the time you go into production and you enter the next post-production phase, you're into another pre-production phase. And it is a tiring cycle. Unless you put your foot down, and I'm sure you do this yourself, unless you put your foot down and say, this month I'm taking a break and going on holiday, you will never get that break. Am I correct? Right? Yeah. And people don't understand that. People see 5 minutes of content and they don't understand the 500 years that goes into those kind of 5 minutes. It may not be literal 500 years, but on a human body, when you're working 18 hours a day, it feels like 500 years. You age so quick, which is why people in production don't have the best exercise regime and don't have the best diet. We just don't have the time to make time for this. And for the influencers who, like you and I, we do production, we manage the post-production, and we also manage our own lifestyle. The fact that we get to squeeze in some kind of an exercise in our routine,
it's a luxury.
Really, it's a luxury, and we are super Beyoncés at this stage, you know.
No, but my question earlier is not about you being a bitch on set. It's about, what do you love about creating?
I know.
Because there must be something that keeps you going doing this, apart from that insecurity. You know, what is it that, I'm sure there's something.
Okay, if I peel away these experiences of me being a bitch on set, what I really do love, and the core of what I do love, is being able to be creative with my social messages. I feel like there is a flavor and a tone to how I do my content that people look forward to, and there's an audience for it. And reaching out to the audience, to me, is the most heartwarming returns of doing videos. Like when I see people's comment and going like, oh my God, that was so smart. And I'm like, yeah, my audience got it. I love it when they pick up all the Easter eggs I drop for them. When they don't, that's when I'll be like, Allah, this was a failed video.
But I think then connection, that's what you are, you really kind of strive for.
You really are a therapist, Jen.
You are so funny. No, but seriously,
God, it is.
I realize that's something that you I wouldn't say crave for, but that's what you work towards. Like every video that you put your heart into, it's because you love it when someone else can connect with your thoughts, and that's some kind of validation you get as well.
Okay.
Do you feel that?
Yes. Right now, I'm just like mind blown at what you just unlocked in my head. It's connection, yeah. Which is why I still do. I've never done Instagram Live until the lockdown period, and I guess it's because I can't do productions while I'm at home because I have no team, right? And I guess the reason why I do live is to feel the connection with people. Jesus.
Yeah.
You just made me Christian.
It's good to question and reflect, and I think right now for us it's called MCO. I can share with you as well. The first week was shit for me. Like, I'm the kind of person that I need to work. I need to keep myself busy so that those thoughts of being empty, of being meaningless, don't fuck with my mind.
Right.
So the first week was not easy because nonstop I would just lie down here and I would start watching Netflix and just watch mind-numbing things, just so that I don't have to think about anything else. Then after that one live stream that my friend got me on, she changed me completely. That live stream, we were just talking, we're just connecting, and that was what started this whole Life's Too Short. Like, I realized that I need connection, I need a purpose, and you know, reading all the news is so depressing, especially like a month or so before this. I felt that doing my live stream, you know, giving some form of entertainment was my purpose. I think I needed a purpose. Then for the first week of Life's Too Short was all about games. Was all about, hey, let's play, you know, blind drawing challenge and stuff like that. And then that one time where I got Nas Daily on board and we started talking about creativity and persistence. And I realized a lot of people needed reminders. A lot of people needed to hear, like what we just said, connection. They needed to connect with something that, oh yeah, that's what I felt. So some form of nourishment. So that kept me going for like nonstop. I've been doing this for like, I think about a month, more than a month or so. And it just kept me going. Every single day I have something to look forward to, and that's what's helping me. But at the same time, I question, is this workaholism? I needed to work even though I don't have to work. You get what I mean? So
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, do you feel that? Like, are you right now, because you can't do shoots, right? Are you filling yourself with work?
Yes. I started enjoying circuit breaker until actually today. Today I woke up damn cranky. I don't even know why. Because I finished cleaning my room. So the whole of last week until like yesterday, I was just resetting my room so that I can do some kind of a live stream situation where the background is not my bed. So I was just resetting my room, right? And then when I was done, this morning I woke up, I was just cranky because I'm like, what am I gonna do now? I had nothing to do. So yes, I filled my time, but at the same time, I'm just trying to find new ways to exhaust this usual energy I have because it's combusting in me and it's feeling frustrated. That's it though. I'm also an artist with my videos, such that I've started to become picky because a job came my way, right? And the job was like, it's like, okay, you can shoot from home, and then we will just have this kind of like, iPhone quality and whatnot. And I think it's a problem in me, but I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I guess it's just like, even though jobs come my way, I have a specific quality that I attain to. And I'm sure you're like that as a person. If my output is not the quality I want, is it even worth me putting
Posting it.
my yeah. Are you like that? Like if a job presents itself to your plate and then you're like, no, this is not the kind of quality I usually go for. Are you okay with it?
I have been spoiled by big production. I have
Yes.
spoken to a director about this before. Derek, if you're watching this, that's you. I remember I got the chance to play different characters, and I used to play different characters with like a split screen. That's it.
Yeah.
But then this guy, Derek, he gave me like a body double. Then you get
Yeah.
that over the shoulder shot.
Over the shoulder shot,
And
yes.
yeah, and right now, if I ever play characters, I need to do that. I can't
Yeah.
just not have that anymore. And so I've been spoiled by bigger and bigger and bigger shoots. Then what I realized is right now, because of this, I can't do those shoots anymore. How am I going to scale it down? And I became more and more picky, like, oh, why am I doing this? I've already done that. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I think
So
it's the,
how
like I said, the artist kind of point of view, because you're so like the beautiful shots, beautifully lit shots. That is, you can't do it with your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
the truth is, Hirzi, nobody gives a shit.
That is
Nobody
so
gives a
true.
shit. That's the sucky part, don't you think? Like you put in so much work, like production, big productions, they care so much about like the lighting and the director, the angles and stuff, but viewers, they only see that split second and it might not even connect to them that it took half an hour to set that shot. How does that
Yeah.
affect you sometimes? Do you think about that?
Um, Sorry, think about in what aspect, like whether people think about the shots or whether or
Yeah.
not I
So
overthink my shots.
earlier you said that you're a bitch during the shoot. I am also a bitch. Let's just be real. Jeremy, if you're watching this, you know. Like the background, if it's not, it's just this thing. Like I can just take a split second to move it. I will move it.
I
That kind
saw
of
that
thing.
one video. I saw that one video of you being nitpicky.
So that's just a like a right at the top. You've not seen like how particular I am when it comes to editing. I've literally edited an entire video all over again because I hated it.
Oh,
So
jeez.
I am like that. And I've also reflected this one point that nobody gives a shit. Actually, it's just a
You
short
know,
sendiri thing.
yeah, yeah. This is the thing about the YouTube sphere. Okay, uh, we there are the OGs like us. You, me, Ming things, right? Who have done this body of work so long that we always aspire to polish and finesse our work, so that the 10 years of us being on YouTube is justified. Like, oh, look, this is the quality that they've gotten over the years. But the truth is, the consumers of YouTubers genuinely don't give two monkeys nuts about how they consume. Like, they can consume something a little bit more low scale, and to them, it doesn't matter. the sad part is a view is just a view. Although we put $10,000 worth of money in one video for that view, and another person could just use an iPhone, for example, it doesn't translate across. It's just like, oh yeah, yours is definitely nicer, but that doesn't mean anything. I feel like for me, and this is so interesting because like recently in Singapore, there has been articles coming for Singaporean YouTubers who don't do more than they can with their resources, and settle for less than finesse content. And I defended that YouTuber by saying, at the end of the day, our YouTube channel is not being paid by taxpayers' money. We, in fact, if anything, fork out our own money for it. This is a very viral, trending topic right now in Singapore. So why would you want to come for the YouTuber and the kind of style of content that he does? You know, so I I don't know. I forgot your question, but I think
No. Continue with this. Continue with this.
yeah.
It's very interesting.
So to me, I feel like with regards to what each YouTuber can do with their own resources, that's really their own problem. For people like you and I who aspire more finesse, polished work, then you can judge us based on that. But you are exactly right in saying also that nobody really goes down and stops to ask like, you know what, guys, why is your quality like this? There are people who will, but what does it matter? You know, like your subscription is not paid subscription. I don't owe it to you. And this is the thing, people like you and I probably spend more of the budget on production than we take home money for ourselves. And people don't understand that concept. So like when clients come to me and say, why is it so expensive for this kind of posting? I'd be like, because I have a team to pay. You know, I don't fart that kind of quality. I can't just fart it from my system and then it appears like that. I have to pay a videographer. And you know what? Sometimes when the budget is so small, I feel so paiseh. I tell the videographer, you just shoot, I edit. And also because I prefer the process of editing myself.
Oh my gosh! Give me a high five! Oh my gosh!
I don't want to talk to you to get this sequence down. Let me just do it myself. Bye.
Okay, then this leads me to the next thing. This is very interesting, okay? So a lot of people who are workaholics, they tend to not be able to delegate because they are always like, oh, they can't let go. Like the editing for me. I hate it when someone who don't know me or know my style and they edit my work. There's so much more things I have to explain, and so I can't delegate. And so I overwhelm myself even more and I become this workaholic nonstop. I think, eat, and shit work, right? Do you feel sometimes you're someone who can't let go?
Oh, 100%. At the start, especially, I'm 100% control freak. What made me learn that I have to let go is that I'm not the best at what I do. When I accepted the fact that I'm not the best at what I do, and there are people with their inputs that could really influence my my work and edify it even better, I started to be like, okay, let's trust this editor, or let's trust this this DP and his lighting style and his shot style, because like you and I, we have a flavor to our work, and that's great. Hold on to it. But the minute you realize that actually, what if other people can influence your work to be even more cool? And that's when I started to let go. Although yes, there will be times when you're communicating with them that they don't understand your comedic timing, but it's a process, you see. And this is the thing about production. It is a village. It is that one economy that requires communication. You know, like without you communicating to the DP, to the actor, to the editor, the product is supposed to be a combined effort. And that's what I started to realize. Even though it's my brand, I need to be okay with it. And if, let's say, the output for this product for this project is subpar to my expectations, it's okay, because by the second and the third one, hopefully the team will get my flavor. And so far, it's been a successful track record with me. I have started becoming a lot more calm with my expectations on jobs. Also because I was starting to be very embarrassed about my persona perceived in the industry.
What do you mean?
People knew me as you know, you want to work with him, he's a little bit headstrong with his ideas and whatnot. And I started to get embarrassed. So there was a point of time where I bite my tongue throughout the entire project, and I hated that process even more. So I'm like, no, there must be a middle ground I can meet where I stand firm with my creatives, my directions. I allow your contributions and your collaborations on board, but what I always stand firm with is work ethics. You can have different creative visions, you can have whatever else that's different from me, but work ethics is work ethics. This is the output we agree on, this is the timeline we agree on. If let's say you need to buy time, I'll be realistic with you. You tell me how much more time you need. You know, and we be realistic as well. We don't buy our time until next year to finish this project. I want a respectful relationship with the people I work with. And I think for the past few projects, I've started to master this relationship with people. I start to paise myself and reel back when I'm overbearing, but at the same time I give it. Do you have relationships with people where you sometimes like bite your tongue? And how is it for you?
I think this was a project with Jeremy and Dana. They have done so many really good videos with me before. And this one time, it was my first time doing stop motion. And I was because it's my first time, and so I needed to control everything because I can't let go because I've not done stop motion, like a full-fledged stop motion music video before. So I felt the need to control and nitpick. And then Jeremy, he was just explaining to me what he's doing. And so many times I was like, yeah, you know that. And sometimes I can't even do it in
got
front
hot
of him.
for you.
But sometimes I can't even do it in front of him. I have to turn away and come back because I know my problem. That's the thing. I think being self-aware is so important. I realize I am incredibly sharp-tongued and I can hurt someone's feelings just by saying things that I don't like. So I have learned to and focus on the issue instead of saying that person is dumb. I have done that before, like to my partner, John.
Yeah.
I used to just mindlessly say, oh, this sounds like shit, like straight away. Instead, it could be like rephrasing it. And sometimes I just have no time. I just have no time to rephrase it. I just want to go straight to the point.
Correct,
you need to know, blah, 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 blah. But with that said, once you've created a team and the team knows who you are and why you are the way you are during the shoot, you have built that chemistry, and slowly you'll have a team that understands you. And even though you're being a bitch, it's not mindlessly being a bitch. They understand why you are. So that's why having a team is important. Sorry?
It sounds exactly like where I am with Ben. It is such an interesting process because I have 3 collaborations, right? One is with Muna for 10 years, and our relationship has been such that over the years, it's known that I'm steering the ship and Muna helps me operate the ship and PR for me. I'm horrible with clients, so like she always is the one handling them. And then with Dkosh, it's a little bit more free ranging. The style of content that we do don't require too much effort. And with Ben, it's something that I feel like we were 2 artists with our own interesting brand DNA, and our child at birth is something so interesting that everybody liked. Now, what people don't understand is the work process of 2 artists also has to come together, and it was at first like we were just trying. There was barely any like fights. I feel like if anything, it was just really just work, and it was us trying to navigate each other's styles. That I think Ben is such a sweet person. Like right now, I see him understanding and helping me cope for my sharp-tonguedness. So like, I think when he witnesses it about to happen, he helps me in that situation. He's become such a ping pong partner. You know, like he knows how to riff off me and volley off me, and like, yeah. At the same time, I now understand the kind of creative mind he has and how to help him organize it to present it to a client, because he doesn't do YouTube for how we do it. So we know how to pitch to a client and whatnot, and I have to help present his creatives to a product that we can sell. So the both of us were trying to learn it And I think it's very sweet when your team starts to notice your flaws and help you with it. I think it's, yeah, you're exactly right. Once you get a team that, like, the last few projects with Ben is something that I noticed he is 100% trying to help me cope. And when he sees me biting my tongue, he immediately resolves and diffuses the situation.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think
nice.
diffusing the situation, picking up little cues that you do and diffuse the situation, that is the beauty of a team. So now we know that. I want to know a little bit more about you. In so many interviews, you have labeled yourself as a workaholic, and I want to know what you mean by that. Because different people might have a different preconceived idea of what workaholics are. I want to know what is your definition of it when you define yourself as a workaholic.
I think it comes from the fact that I'm a beehive. When you are a fan of Beyonce, you sort of think you are her, not realizing you don't have her resources, you don't have her money, you don't have her team. So you try to emulate what she does. And okay, this is the thing, I do parodies, right? And I really literally try to mimic whatever she does. Like one time she did Lemonade, the album, the film, and I tried to do it within the same 2 weeks before Hari Raya was dropped. It was a freaking impossible feat, but like, wow. And it was a one DP team. Like, kudos to him for even doing it, you know. But as to me, a workaholic is someone who spends 3/4 of the day at work. It's a dumb answer, but like, I guess, yeah, someone who, I won't say I don't hate the process, because sometimes there are days where I like pull my hair and ask myself, why am I doing this? But at the same time, I don't have any other things to fill my time with.
Then that, but that leads me to the next thing. So workaholism is associated with high level of pleasant stress. I 100% agree with that. And I want to know if you agree with that as well. High levels of pleasant stress. Can you
Pleasant
define that for yourself?
stress.
Yeah.
Pleasant stress is a stretch. Like, I've never heard of the concept of pleasant stress. And I don't think if it's pleasant stress for me, it might be pleasant stress for the people I work with. uh, I I I would confirm stress, but I can't confirm pleasant.
But you're
Sorry to
addicted
disappoint.
to that. You don't think so? Okay, so I love the process of like breaking down what this product is all about. And I love this stress, like, oh, I can't figure it out. I want to figure it out. And that process is something addictive for me, figuring out problem solving. And, when I'm working hard in trying to figure that out, that makes me feel good. So
Right.
it's a good kind of stress.
To me, the reward is always the output. And when the video goes out and the fans go, what a brain behind this, that's when like you're almost flexing, like, yeah, but the process, I've always thought, right, it's freaking 2020. Why is there no invention where you can put something around my head and whatever ideas I come up with, right, just comes out in video sequence already?
Oh, that's called drugs.
No, it's a video sequence that you can then upload to YouTube. So no need the production, no need, you just put it around my head and then the ideas come. Wow! If the day the invention happens, right, like writers can surpass any production glitches, you know.
I see. Okay, so that's maybe where we differ. Because for
Mm.
me, is I really enjoy the process. It is stressful as shit, but the process of seeing how a scene turns from a shit bedroom to whoa, glamorous bedroom, I love that process. I'm addicted to it, and I find it joyful. And then that leads me to a sub question to you: is let's just say you put in so much hard work to do this video, you got 1 million views. Then the next video, it has to be better, but it didn't do as good. How do you deal with that feeling?
I'm not addicted to views. That's one thing I have a relationship with, and I always tell content creators in my seminars, like, don't put your value as an artist to the views. Yes, you need some kind of a healthy relationship with it, because viewership means your audience is growing. It also means you're able to pitch to brands, hey, these are the eyeballs you get when you work with me. But at the same time, I always say, work on your content, work on your product, and the relationship you have with it versus the views. So I wouldn't say, if let's say if this video gets 100,000 views and then the next video gets like 2,000 views, I won't be too upset with it. Although generally I try to maintain a standard average of 100K views, because then I know, okay, I am sustaining my audience. It is when there's a drastic drop that I'll be like, okay, where did that mess up? And then I'll go back to rectify and continue doing that. My favorite thing about work, okay, this is one thing I suddenly thought of. The one joy I have of work is collaborations. So I love to see the the child of different collaborators with me. So like, if with Dekosh, this is what a Hirzi Dekosh product looks like. If with Ben, this is what a Ben Hirzi product looks like. And it's very distinct, but you hear the DNA of both parents in that child. And I love it. I love it. I like, nowadays I'm thinking, or like, who's next? You know, who do I want to work with next that will like give me a very interesting product? Basically,
So you
yeah,
like the idea of collaboration?
100%. Yes. Yes. And I like to see
Interesting.
both DNA of the parents in that product.
Has it
With
always been
Benzi,
like
it's so
that?
clear. It hasn't been like that. Like, when I was with Muna, like, I did Muna Hirsi for 10 years, and we only started collaboration the 6th year. Before that, I was so afraid of people to figuring out that I was a bitch on set that I refused to collaborate. Until like YouTube in Singapore really was growing, and like, if you didn't collaborate, you really were the asshole lah. So I started doing that, and people started to find out I was a bitch anyways, and I was starting to be okay with it. And I love the process of, oh my god, this is what it looks like when people work with me. Yeah, and as long as they have patience for me, I guess it works out to be okay.
That's good. I think that's a growth right there.
Yeah.
I think for me, I can relate as well. Like before this, I couldn't collaborate with anyone. For the longest time, I've written music by myself. I've shot videos by myself. And so when other people come into that space, that like they disrupt my process, I get irritated. But slowly and surely, I realized that disruption is important to create something you never thought you could do. I think that's the beauty of collaboration, and
Yeah.
it can get very exciting and frustrating at the same time when you're very particular about what you want to do and you have the ego. Okay, like me, sometimes I got an ego, like, oh yeah, my idea is the best, but sometimes it's just shit. So another thing that I want to ask you is this: the long term of having workaholism, the negative outcome could be poor health and relationship. What's your views on that?
Oh, 100%. I think poor health and bad relationship is already taking a toll on my circle. What I'm lucky with when it comes to poor relationship is I have very amazing collaborators working with me who understand my shortcomings, who are patient with my shortcomings. And through their patience, I tell myself I need to grow, and I need to shed this ego and this wall, and from time to time give in, learn to be finding the middle voice or the middle ground. As long as they're fair, try your best to understand them. And that's the amazing thing. I think with Benzi is the most interesting social studies case right now. We call it case study. It's the most interesting case study because it's really current time, right? And so with Benzi, sometimes we allow each other to, like, okay, Ben, you write this script and I help you support it, you know, like however you feel like I can pump it, so that there's one person driving that creative, so you feel supported versus fighting and clashing all the time. So with the Benzi project, we split the scripts up. Like, there's some scripts that I write and he supports it, and then there's scripts that he writes and I support it. And I think that's the healthiest collaboration, where you do one, I do one, and we reverse roles for both projects. When it comes to poor health, though, I learned that I need to be more realistic. I need to have a schedule that allow for a healthy work to rest ratio. Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's important. Like um, those who are going through, those of you who recognize that you are workaholics, I think it's very important, as what Hirzi mentioned. It's important to pen down in your schedule time to rest or time for play as well. Um, I think for the longest time in 2018 and nonstop, I was hustling just like you, I was working within the hours, not thinking about like looking at my day as one. I'm looking at every hour. How am I going to fit more things in it, meetings in it? How can I talk to more people, you know? And that's
Mm.
not a healthy way to go about it. And that leads me to the next question in this spectrum: workaholism versus showing that you're working hard. Okay, this one could be a bit
Ah,
shady to some people, but I'm just gonna say it. Okay, there are some people who would just post on social media about how many things that they are doing with their lives. Like, oh, I'm doing so many different projects. And then they end up getting sick. And then somehow they are rewarded by saying they are hardworking. I completely disagree with this. I don't think that's the way of life. But somehow social media has glorified this workaholism. Do you
it,
agree with that?
uh, I have one rule in life. If it doesn't affect me, I don't have too much of an input on it. But I guess to really just answer your question, if I agree with it, uh, okay lah. Like as long as it, if you, if you feel like it's the portrayal you want to present to people, like I'm a workaholic, then great. But at the end of the day, what's the result you get? You know, like, do you have the same work output? At the end of the day, work output will always speak for itself.
Yep.
You can pretend how many stories a day that you are trying to do work, but work output
Yeah, yeah,
speaks for itself. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, look at my work, look at yours. If you think like that's the same level of standard, okay, I guess the only way to answer your question is when it comes to budgets, when it comes to clients, right? And clients were like, but your following is only this amount, so why are you charging this YouTuber's amount? And I say, look at what the YouTuber is doing and the content he's doing, the production team he's hiring. Like, I'm literally in charge of an entire economy right now. When you hire me, I hire people. You're not giving me that money and I take it for myself. Yeah, so yes, in that sense, I don't think it's fair if like people pretend that, oh, I have so many things to do and therefore to pitch the client like this is the amount I need. But in actual fact, if you don't require that much hiring in one project, then the budget doesn't make sense. I
Yeah,
guess, yeah, to
it's not
relate to
right.
you, that's the only way I can like connect my
Got
emotions
it.
to it.
Got it. Because for me, I feel social media is dangerous, but also absolutely wonderful. Like I get to connect with you. I never got to speak to you in person, but right now I get to connect with you, and I feel there's so many things I could relate to you. But at the same time, the danger bit is that it kind of propels certain traits that is actually dangerous, but is seen in a different way, like workaholic. I think those who are workaholics, there's some void that they are trying to fill. And if they don't realize that, and yet social media is making them feel like they're very hardworking, they need to be like that, they don't deserve rest, then that's dangerous. You get what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. I think it's very, very dangerous when you see someone constantly doing something, filling up their plate, so many different things. I think if you are friends with that person, you need to message that person, say, "Hey, are you okay?
Yeah,
We need to let's go
please.
for lunch." You know what
Oh
I
my
mean?
god, yes, please. That would be so lovely. You know, okay, I always, right, when I overwork myself, the imagery that I always, there are three images that I plant in my head. I either want to rest this part of my forehead on someone's chest, or I want to collapse on my knees and face plant on the floor, or I want someone to carry me.
So
I don't
those
know
are the
why. Yeah,
comforting, your three comforting stance.
and it's so weird because like none of these stunts make sense if I ever do in public where someone picks me up or if I rest my head on some random person's chest or if I like plant my knees to the floor. But these are the three vivid images, okay? These are very vivid.
Hmm.
Every time I'm exhausted, these are the three things I wish I can do at that point of time.
Have you ever done that?
No.
You should try. Like
The closest is face planting on the floor.
you shouldn't be seduced by the idea. You should just try and see whether it works or not.
Just, sorry sir, can you please come
Can you
here?
please
I
come
need
here
to
for a
rest
while?
my
I
forehead
just
and
you
start
should try
crying.
that. Okay. Final question before I let you leave. I want to ask about burnout. So you're someone who you've done so much over the years. You have achieved so much. I want to know any point you've experienced burnout.
Oh, 100%. I think 2018, right before my birthday, I felt sick. I felt really, really sick. Long story short, there was a stroke scare.
Oh
A-
dear.
yeah, and that was when my life really turned around, and I said, no, I can work as much as I want if at the end of the day, all this money goes to the hospital bills, and I don't even get to live a healthy life with my able body self, then it's not worth it. So yeah, in terms of burnout, I definitely have reversed it. Like 2019 onwards, the second half of the year, I really have been pacing myself out. What's funny is right now 2020 is literally putting a stop, a plunge in whatever we're doing. So yeah. When it comes to burnouts though, I believe it's 5 or 6. It's 5 to 6 stages of lethargy. Do you want to hear it? It's very funny.
Yes, please.
It's
Yes, please.
fucking funny. So what happens is the first stage that I am very, very exhausted is when I zone out. So if
Okay.
I'm on set, and it usually happens after the 24th hour of working, or there is a cumulative number of 24 hours of work within 3 days. So meaning say if each day I work like 10 hours, 10 hours, and then on the 4th hour of the third day, I will get to the stage where I zone out. So when I'm zone out, this is where it's very, very dangerous. Uh, Please continue to talk to me and humor me, because the next few stages is where I get out of control. The zone out is fine. There's nothing wrong that's gonna happen, but that is a sign. You know, like when you're having a migraine, you start to have blur visions. That is my equivalent where I zone out. Now, after I zone out, what happens is I go into a cackling fit. So like I will just burst out laughing. Anything is funny at this stage. Some
Okay.
some some grip can be rigging up some tripod and whatnot, and I'll burst out laughing because it's the funniest thing. And it happened on set when I was shooting a reality show once, and my director told me, Hirzi, you were so out of control. I prepared them for it because we were doing a traveling show, and we were hiking up this crater in Indonesia. And so I was exhausted. It was the 3rd to 4th day of shoot already, and they were shooting something, and I just couldn't do it. I was laughing at everything. And then you know what happened right after that? Allegedly, I fell asleep. I fell asleep. And I have no recollection of the incident whatsoever until they told me the next morning, yeah, you were gone. So
Oh, so that's
if let's say
stage three.
not yet, not yet.
Oh,
If I have not slept yet before I went, after my cackling fit, after my laughing fit, I will go into a crying fit. And this happened a
okay.
lot in college, because in college I would not sleep for 72 hours straight while just working. So I would just randomly burst into tears and just start crying uncontrollably, and like in a very like cradling position. And like my college friends are so used to it. There was one time during lunch, I entered the pantry and I just went and I cried at the corner of the pantry. They looked and they continued talking. My college friends are so used to it. And the 4th stage is when I go. This is the most dangerous stage, when I go into this angry fits mode. So after sadness comes this eruption of anger, and nothing you do will please me. And I'm so pissed. I'm so mad. Sometimes things will fly. It rarely happens. Doesn't happen too often. But when I get to that stage, you just give me 5 minutes and I'll fall asleep. So each stage will eventually end up with me falling asleep. But it's at which stage do you make sure I sleep? So if let's say you see me laugh really, right? Just let me sleep. Before I get to the angry part, just let me sleep. So yeah, this is
Oh
my
my
stages of lethargy.
God. So, okay, wait, that is not burnout just yet, but that is like being tired, correct?
No, that's burnout. That's me and my epitome. Like I can't. That's the peak already.
Okay, got it,
Yeah.
got it. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting. How did you come about with that? It basically means that you have been tired long enough to deduce and come
The
up with
pattern.
this. Yeah. So does that mean like like your whole life you've been like that for you to come up with these steps in your mind?
It's not even steps in my mind. It's the things my body naturally reacts to. So I noticed this general pattern of once I zone out on set, the next thing I do is I'll laugh. If I don't fall asleep by then, the next thing I do is I'll cry. If I don't fall asleep by then, the next thing I do is I'll rage into this monster, and then I'll fall asleep. It's my body telling me I cannot anymore. I need to fall asleep. You making me stay on the next hour, Hirzi, is my mind doing this to you now. So that's just my body malfunctioning, and all the chemicals just messing up in my head.
Are you ever going to stop yourself from going through that again? Like
Oh
going just
yes,
into stage one?
yes. It's not something that I consciously do naturally. Like I don't allow myself to do it. It's like sometimes in a day, you're very goal oriented, meaning to say, okay, this week I need to achieve this much, right? That means I have to work this much. If I have to work this much, you sometimes forget, no, my body can't do that. But you're like, never mind, that's what the client wants. Like, I need to give this to the client, I need the money, right? And then bam, you do it, and you go through the process, you become the laughing stock of production, but oh well.
But you've gotten better?
I would like to say in the last 3, 4, 5 projects, yes.
That's good.
Like 2018, 2019 was me having to really learn how to work as an individual artist without Muna. Like Muna, bless her heart, she's really like the best friend of best friends. You know, she knows me inside out, and it's almost, I'm not embarrassed to show her my horrible side. But because I'm starting to work with new people, I was very embarrassed in 2018, 2019. So I had to control and curb things. I had to learn, you know, about myself again. And yeah, hopefully I think I'm getting better.
Are you ever gonna consider therapy?
Yeah, I think I'm the Charlie Sheen of YouTube. No, minus all the allegations. I want to. I really, really want to.
What's
It's
stopping
just
you?
nothing's stopping me. Yeah, nothing's stopping me. I just haven't gotten the time of day or the effort to actually do it. I think it will really, really help me understand my mind.
Yeah. I will share with you. This is something I shared earlier when you were sleeping. Uh, burn! Okay, so basically, long story short, was beginning this year, when I was editing a video, I felt there's something wrong with me. And I've never felt this feeling before. I started having like a little bit shaking, and I felt like I was going to vomit. I felt like I was shit. Oh, your video is shit. You are horrible. Because I was editing, I was looking at my own face, right? You're not funny. You're irrelevant. You're dumb as shit. All these thoughts were just consuming me, and there's no way out of it. Because for the longest time, I internalized a lot of my problems, and then I work it out by myself. And I never really talked to anyone about it. So I thought, maybe it's an ego thing. I felt like I could handle it. So throughout this whole editing process of sitting down there for a good half an hour, I just kept feeling this. And I was I was short of breath, and I knew something was wrong. And there and then I messaged my therapist and I said, I need to see you right now. I've not seen her for over 2 years. And just out of the blue, I needed to message her again. And then what happened was I told my team, I gotta go. I rushed straight to the therapist, and for an entire hour, I had mouth diarrhea. I just talked and talked and talked. And after that 1 hour, because my therapist is someone, you pay this person to be unbiased. You pay this person because of her um, her experience, her
Expertise. Yeah.
education, expertise. And knowing that it's a safe zone, you will not be judged ever. That was the point where I just let it all out. And the main takeaway for that situation made me realize that I have this ego problem of not opening up about my problems to my friends or to my loved ones. I have this problem of thinking I could deal with it. And that was what therapy helped me. That I was experiencing burnout, but also it was no longer psychological. It was manifesting physically, and I needed help. And that was the time that I realized therapy is not cheap, but at the same time it was necessary just for that time. I'm not advocating like mental health here or anything, but I just kind of feel
You
that
should. It's good.
But no, but I just kind of feel that people who are type A, especially, I think you're very type A.
Ah,
Um,
me?
oh, I don't know. I think so.
Type A? Really?
So I think we would benefit a lot, and even just not just type A. I think everybody will benefit a lot from just regurgitating everything
Right.
that's been on your mind. Have you had that experience with Mona, like just being able to say whatever?
Ah, Muna's the worst when it comes to these things. she is really a proper Sagittarius, okay? Like she's great because she's fun. She's a very efficient worker. She she's a good friend. She's very reliable. Anytime you need her, she's there. But when it comes to like being objective as a friend, sometimes I think she's so biased to me that she lets me have my way, number one, for 10 years, which is why I'm the way I am, you know, like I'm so comfortable with how she was with me that I was like, no, this is the correct way. And with Muna, she is a listener, but she doesn't volley with you. So she just listens to you, and then done, she gives the most blasé expected answer, like, oh, you need to take care of yourself, or oh, you need to do this. She never gives me like pointed advice, like how I would with her. But I've learned that, hey, you know what, she's my best friend also, and I'm sure if this is her shortcoming where she can't, give very very vivid advice for me, then it's okay. I can find an outlet somewhere else. Another great person who is a good listener is Dikosh, actually.
Mm.
Dude, there's so many times, right, where I'm raging and all he does is, you know what? Go for it. So he drives me around and I'm just raging in the car, ranting and like venting my anger at something else. And he just, okay, okay. And then when it's done, it feels so good. And he allows me these kinds of pockets of just exhausting my anger out in a rant in a car drive. He does it a lot.
Mm.
It's really, really great.
That's good. So it means you
Yeah.
have an outlet. That's
I have great
important.
friends, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing because, and also because you don't have ego, you felt like you could just let it out. I have an ego problem that I feel like I can solve all my own problems, and that's why that it bottles up. So that's something for me. And another thing I realized that you're also very self-aware. I think that you are very aware of like why you feel what you feel, and you're incredibly intelligent as well. So that's really, really, I find it very interesting because people know you as the, shasha and all your your quirks. But I've seen so many interviews. I've listened to so many of your interviews. You're such an intelligent person, and so I think self-awareness is something that I think it's very cool. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that. I really wanted to say that I really respect the work that you do, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of your work.
Stop. Stop. Do re mi fa sol la.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that you took the time to chat with me about
I better I slept on you, you know.
Yeah, I know you felt so bad. Like guys, he kept messaging me, paise, paise, paise. I'm like, hey, please, this one is
Dude,
no brand, no nothing. It's just for fun, and us just
no.
sharing with everyone.
Thank you so much for having me on board. Really, really appreciate the conversation. And once all this is over and I'm in KL, let's get some banana leaf.
Yes, it would be really nice to actually meet you in person. And my cat is my cat's playing the piano now, so I'm just gonna go and deal with my cat.
Okay.
Thank you so much again.
Thank
Hope to see you
you.
soon, okay? Stay safe.
Yes. Stay safe. Bye bye.